Steve Robbins here. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. Listener Tom writes in, I work 10 to 7, often later, plus at least parts of nearly every weekend. To that, add a 30-minute commute each way, and I can barely fit in basic life tasks like laundry, going to the post office, and paying bills, let alone having a personal life. I used to love what I do. Now I hate it. How can I fit in my life around my job? Tom. You're the victim of the 21st century. We're all so glad to have jobs at all that we pretty much put up with job situations that suck. First, make sure you've listened to my previous podcasts about how to set boundaries at work and how to balance work and life. There are links in this episode's transcript, because we're going to build on those today. Here are 7 tips for helping to achieve work-life balance. Tip number 1 is to budget your time. We're taught to budget our money and spend it wisely, but we're not taught to budget our time. And while you can earn more money, you can't get more time. When your number is up, it's up. A so-called work-life balance is simply deciding how much of your non-replaceable time you're going to spend working, including your commute, and how much you're reserving for your actual life, which is the part that matters. I reserve 3.5 hours on alternate Saturdays for my personal life. I hope you do better. Tip number 2, choose your risk level. You're probably already scared. What if I have to work late some evening, you ask, breaking out into a sweat? Well, the answer is that you don't, unless it's super duper important. And if you do, you skip out of work early later in the week or the month to make up for those hours. Most businesses don't give you extra money without expecting extra work or extra quality. There's no reason the standards for yourself should be any lower. But I'll get fired, you cry. Or the company will always favor someone who sacrifices their personal life. Maybe. Tip number 3 is face the reality, not your fears. Those fears could be true. In that case, you have a choice to make. What's more important, your job or your life? Whenever I ask this, people look at me like I'm crazy. They think the answer is obvious. In America, the obvious answer is your job. And in other countries, where they all have siestas, the obvious answer is your life. The answer, my friend, is not obvious at all. Before you indulge your fear, though, look for evidence. In most workplaces, it's hard enough to find an example of someone fired for any reason. People who put in a solid 8 hours but refuse to work weekends probably don't get fired. They get laid off, of course, but so do all high performers to pay for the executive bonus pool. But fired for anything related to job performance? Not likely. Chances are your fears have no basis in fact. Tip number 4, less is really more. Working your crazy hours probably isn't productive. Work more, sacrifice your life, and you get stressed. If your job demands creativity and problem solving, you'll tank your work quality by working 24/7. If your job is people interactions, you'll bite the heads off customers. Ick, messy. And if your job involves physical labor, like cleaning the store up when you close at night, you'll be sloppy and physically weaker. You might even slip a disc as you bend down to pick up the remains of a decapitated customer. I wrote an entire article on the myth of working long hours. You can find a link in this episode's transcript. The stress of long hours reduces productivity enough to cancel out any benefit of those extra hours. You do best by working fewer, higher quality hours. Tip number 5 is talk to your boss. If you have a strong relationship with your boss, it's worth a serious conversation to scale back your hours or your time commitment. Start by saying, I want to do a good job. The stress of no life is making it hard for me to function well. Unless your boss is an ogre, you should have room to negotiate. If your boss is an ogre, it's time for a new boss. Transfer to a new group, transfer to a new company, or replace your boss with an identical-looking robot that obeys your every command. Tip number 6, schedule your personal life first. My favorite do as I say and not as I do technique is to schedule your personal life before scheduling work. Then ask, how can you meet your work goals in the leftover time in your schedule? I plan to have dinner at 6:30 p.m. every night with my husband, wife, spousal equivalent, children, or polyamorous family units. How can I still get my work done? You might have ideas like working a half day at the office and a half day from home later in the evening. I used to carpool to work. I would say, I must leave at 5 p.m. to catch my carpool. No one ever complained. We just got stuff done by 5 p.m. The carpool schedule limited the workday, not the other way around. Tip number 7, reconsider that commute. Think about this. Your 30-minute commute is taking up 6 work weeks of time every year. That's a month and a half. And it's coming out of your personal time, not your work time. Move closer, work from home, or find a way to do something useful that moves your job forward as you drive, like listening to informative, helpful podcasts, or find radio stations and or CDs that offer educational programs, things that might actually help you in your work. It's scary and hard to reclaim our lives from overwork, but the only one who can do it is you. Decide how much time you'll work and draw the line firmly. Talk to your boss, schedule your personal life first. Get real about your fears and judge your performance based on results. True productivity, not hours. This is Steve Robbins. Find links to my other articles on work-life balance on the Get It Done Guys section of the Quick and Dirty Tips website at getitdone.quickanddirtytips.com. I help people build extraordinary lives, businesses, and careers by helping them find and implement the balance between time spent on work and time spent on personal pursuits. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com. That's SteverRobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.